Today I'm going to show you my new electronic music content creation studio. And we're going to get into it as soon as I shout out today's patron. And that patron shout out goes to HSJ. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. Yes, I have once again reorganized my studio space, except this time I'm sticking to it, at least for the immediate future. You see, while I wasn't unhappy with my previous setup, I started to realize the more I moved things around that it could be a lot better. So the last time you saw the setup, I was really focusing on the electronic drum set with the SP404 Mark II there. And that setup still exists, but I did bring in the live rig, which at this point just consists of the SPD-SX, the Keystep 37, the Boss VE500, and the Morningstar MC6 Pro down there. This open space, by the way, is going to be for the SP404 Mark II. I can simply pick it up and put it right there. We've also got the SM57 there. But as soon as I got that set up, I realized that the filming desk over here could also be integrated into this setup. And so that's exactly what I've done. I've got the filming desk on this side of the room now. I also moved my audio interface, my Behringer UMC 1820 over here. I've got the main inputs that I use for filming and recording gear just on the desk here. So I've got an adapter that lets me go down to a single stereo TRS plug, or I can unplug the adapter and go left and right pair there. That's going into the UMC 1820. Also, my microphone is going into the UMC 1820. And then I've got another pair of inputs going into the 1820 that are actually coming out of the SPD-SX, and that is capturing the live rig. So the SP404 is going out into the SPD-SX, and the TD-17 is going out into the 404. The VE500 is actually going to go into the mic input on the bottom there. And I'm also going to be planning on picking up a tiny little mixer for this setup as well. Basically, I want to be able to capture everything I do in the 404, and then that's going to run through the SPD over to the 1820 there, which is actually connected by USB all the way to the main computer there, to my Mac Mini. So I can record straight off of OBS all of the audio from the 404 Mark II, the SPD, the VE500, the TD-17, just, straight into OBS. And I've got this monitor here, which is just mirroring my screen, so I can, monitor things, and I can actually go live way more than I do, and I can go live from this setup. Now there's one more key piece of gear that I picked up that's actually making all of this possible, at least in the least frustrating way possible, and it's this Streamdeck Mini. I actually had a family member hook me up with two Stream Decks. I've got this Mini here, and then this Stream Deck, I want to say it's an XL, over at the over at the main computer desk. This here actually allows me to open OBS, start recording, pause recording, and resume recording, all without having to go back to the computer or even look at a monitor. I've also got a stopwatch here, so I can start it as soon as I start filming, see how long I've been going for. I've got the current time, and then I also have a shortcut that when I hit, it opens up the videos folder on my computer, so when I'm done filming, I can click videos and walk over to the computer. The videos folder is already pulled up and ready to pop into Premiere. So that's the audio routing and how that all works, and how I'm going to be able to now create with the SP404 on the fly, really, and document it very, very easily, at least for the audio. Let's talk about the video side of things. Obviously on the filming desk, I've just got my normal camera setup right here, and this is actually going via micro HDMI to my capture card and into the Mac. As you can see, it's on the screen there. Ooh. However, another one of the main reasons for me coming up with this sort of cage system actually has to do with filming this stuff, this rig here, because I wanted to be able to actually easily walk behind it and get a camera set up so I can position it really in any way that I want. And as you can see, I've got a little tripod down there, but that's what I've done. This cable is the audio from the 1820 over there into the Mac. However, I'm going to be replacing this with a longer one so it can go up against the wall. So as soon as I get that, I'll be able to just cross over here, adjust the camera, filming myself at the drum set, at the live rig. I'm also planning on adding some sort of way to view the gear from a top-down perspective so you can easily see what I'm doing when the 404 is up here, or hopefully even when it's down here, as well as any other gear that I might add to this setup. So that's what's going on for video. However, speaking of adding gear to the setup, you'll notice I've got my Arturia Keylab Essential Mark III here, and this is actually just a placeholder for a piece of gear I have on the way. Courtesy of Zounds.com, they are loaning me a Roland Juno D6, which is sort of like a stage keyboard slash synthesizer. Basically, it's a ton of incredible presets with that nice synth action, the ability to quickly change the presets, layer them up to, I want to say 7 times, split the keyboard wherever you need. It's just basically going to be the source for a lot of the sounds that I'm using on the 404. This is just the place that it would fit. It's a little bit longer than this on both sides, but it should squeeze in here no problem. And then that is also going to be ran into the SP404 Mark II. So I'll be able to easily record and sample into it with the high quality sounds of the Juno D6. I know it's not everybody's jam, but I really enjoy synthwave. Oop, computer went to sleep. I really enjoy synthwave, so that just seemed like a pretty solid choice. I don't necessarily love sound design, so the Gaia 2 and the Arturia Mini Freak were contenders, but at the end of the day, I decided to go with the Juno D6. That's going to sit right here. Again, I don't have it forever. I'm just borrowing it. If I love it, I'll probably get my hands on one for real, but I want to see what it does for this setup and how I enjoy using it. So that's pretty much it for this setup here, what I've been calling the cage. Although I guess one more thing, since we're going to be having a camera right there filming this way, I'm actually going to put some decorative elements on that shelf there and maybe even a couple shelves on the wall. There's a couple Lego Star Wars sets I want to put together that I've got just sitting in the attic right now. Some smaller ones, maybe I'll put those there, or some fun music stuff. Who knows? But to the person who's been begging me to decorate this space, I think you're going to finally get your wish. Anyway, before we wrap up completely, let's talk about the setup here at the Mac Mini, the editing setup. As you can see, I've got the Streamdeck XL here. I've also got the Mistrix Pro right there, which is the device that I'm very slowly learning and quite enjoying. Then I've got my Ableton Move. Of course, that's not going anywhere. That's like my go-to Ableton controller. And anytime I want to make a project that I know is just going to go straight into Ableton, that's as good as it's going to get. So that's still there. We've got a variety of USB hubs back here, since the Mac Mini only has 3 USB ports in the back, but they are incredibly high bandwidth. They are all Thunderbolt 5 ports, so despite it looking like I'm using a ton of hubs back here, I'm barely using any of the power that those 3 ports actually provide. And then I do have an audio interface for just listening on the computer. This is the Audient Evo 4, nothing special. Just needed an audio interface to plug my headphones into. And then I've got those classic Bose computer speakers from like 2010, I want to say. Still no proper monitors here in the studio, but I do almost everything with headphones because I'm in a house with my wife and her little sister. So I'm not trying to be crazy loud all the time. Anyway, that's it for the little studio tour. I'm really happy with where we're at. I've tested everything out. It works well. And I'd imagine you'll first see this setup properly in use in just a few videos after this one. I've got a few more coming out, and then we'll do something from here in the cage. And you'll probably not actually know when I start filming over at the desk on this side of the room, because nothing really should change aesthetic-wise. But yeah, this is the music creation studio setup. I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what you think in a comment below. And of course, if you found this one informative or entertaining, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.